to the poker stream. We are running a little bit of a mix right now. We have NL50 tables and a couple of small tournaments that just happen to be up and running. Very small tournaments. They're just the only things running right now. We're just kind of getting everything sort of up and running this morning. Another table here, nice positioning on it. So the NL50 table, we're basically up playing NL50 now. Bankroll is up to a hair over 1600. Started a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Restarted at 400 bucks. So I've been grinding up pretty solid so far. Stream's been going pretty good, so I appreciate everybody who has been checking it out. Okay. Okay, bump up the ace nine off. Bottom left, we're gonna overbet the ace king. King eight suited, that's an open. Too tight to fold that for sure. So yeah, bankroll has been growing pretty. I don't really want to call it a bankroll challenge necessarily anymore. More like a poker bowl. More like proof that you can still grind up a bankroll from the micro stakes in 2025. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of chatter out there that poker's not beatable anymore. There's too many bots, there's too many solvers. Um, but as long as you're disciplined, it is 100% still beatable and crushable. So that's kind of the whole point of the channel when we first started it um, a couple of years ago. Been growing significantly faster lately. Didn't really put proper amount of attention, I guess, to it on what was working. We were just kind of tossing out random short videos and stuff like that, updates. So, and I've had a few people reached out to me who are actually playing professionally now and said that they were actually inspired originally by the channel and just kind of seeing that somebody can actually just grind up through the micro stakes and low stakes and turn it into um, something that they can make a significant amount of money at. So we're pretty much sitting or waitlisted on all the NL50 tables. Bankroll is definitely a bit short from what would be considered optimal for an NL50 grind. Like we're pretty short stacked, but we have tons of buy-ins for NL25. So if we do want to go on a kind of variance heavy downswing at NL50, then we would simply money's just going in here. If we run into Ace King, kind of just so be it. Um, uh, but um, but yeah, so we just go on a big downswing. We just dip out. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. He does call. He does have obviously all the. Um, he has all the ace queens in his range, but he has queen ten, queen jack. Obviously, has fives and deuces as well. Ace four suited sometimes, like ace four spades. But there's a bunch of other flush draws or pair plus flush draws, worse queens and stuff that are going to be in his hand when he snaps off. Though we're not in good shape. Oh, we're ahead. That's a crazy turn card for him, though. Very good turn card for him. And we will run it twice. So we'll see how it's a good start. Good turn. Okay. A good river. Okay, good start to the stream here. Up a buy-in. All right, let me just pull up the streams here. I always forget that I need to um, edit up YouTube stream once we kind of load into it. Full to 10-7. Video. Raise the jack off. Fold the 8-6 off. And I'll adjust out the tables here in just a second. I'm just going to finish setting this all up first. Streams, done. Altered content, no. Fold 7-5 off. And the tags, pretty straightforward tags, just online. Poker, GG, poker, cash games, NL50. micro status. Okay. And we'll fold the jack six. Okay, so that's all good to go. And then we just need to add the 10-8 off, fine to bump up against these villains. Right next here. And we'll just put in a small C bet. Here we're going to go bigger because we don't have the ace. Um, it's not balanced, but against recreationals, we don't actually care. We're just going to bet the strength of our hand, and that's that. Um, when it comes to significantly better players, we don't do any of that. Okay. YouTube's up and running. Fold the king eight offsuit. So yeah, we got. Oh my god, gotta get a new chair. Okay, let's just readjust these tables now, and we'll pop over to screen. If you guys find the streams too squished on six tables, let me know. I can try to adjust it. I find it okay, but they do generally seem a little bit squashed. But it does work for pretty good setup. Okay, we do bank the nine. We're just going to lead into him in the limp spot. Okay, I think that's all good. That's all set up. This is good. We can go back here now. Okay, fold jack eight offsuit. He does call. I think we'll just go check call here now. Mute that. Okay. Does give up. It's a good chance we have the best hand here once he gives up. Seven's great. Yep. Good bet. Fold 7-4. The ace four off, we're just gonna let go. So we have the 315 bounty, very small tournament, and we have an $8 buy-in. The bottom left. We had a nice quick double up in the top left, which is great because now we cover pretty much the entire table minus this guy, who's the chip leader, it looks like. So you guys just joining the channel. We also have a channel, a Twitch stream that we go and up and run. I should have the link in my description. Do I? Oh yeah, I do. If you just open it up, you'll see the link. You just scroll down a bit. It'll say underestimated videos about, and then beside it will be the link over to our Twitch. So feel free to check that out as well. Even if you just go over and leave a follow, that really does help support the channel. I gotta get a new computer chair. That like airbag and this has got a leak or something. I keep shrinking. Okay, and the ace six off will fold, and we boat up on the river. We all know what's happening now. Just jam. Okay, great spot here. Got to be able to fold those jacks. I mean, he's super short stacked. This should just obviously he shouldn't be open limping there. But if he's used to playing tournaments, that's fine. There's lots of it's kind of a pretty standard play with tournaments. You like limp in with a short stack, let people, a couple people come along, and then somebody squeeze and like that kind of stuff. That should be three bet. Definitely not a fold there. Big mistake. We get led into on this board, which is a pretty standard play. It's a good play. We definitely call here. His range will be pretty wide. We pick up the nine ball, so now we're beating some like 4-5, ace-5, like 6-4, king-5, king-6, king-7, king. Yeah, it's like spade draws, those types of hands. Uh, I'm gonna bet for value when he checks to us. I don't think there's too many scenarios where he checks an eight here, given the flush draws still out. But if we do get check raised, we'll just be done with the hand. There's also a lot of 5-8, 6-8, 7-8, 8-9 already in his range. Um, but I think the value bet's the play. Whether you do it on the turn or we check back and call a river bet, both options are fine. but I think we're more likely to get called there by worse hands than we are to be able to check back turn and then call river. Just because villains aren't like goofy enough, I don't think, in four straight boards. So yeah, so far so good. We did, like I said, a couple weeks ago, we pulled out a bunch of our bankroll, dropped back down to like 400 at NL10, and kind of with pretty quickly grinded our way um, up and out of it. I'm going to give somebody a chance to bet here with Queen 10. Okay, and we're just going to go for the check shove line with pocket jacks here, and we just defend here with Jack 8 off. He does not bet. Okay, top left, we're going to barrel for value now. Goes over pot on the queen. Fold the Jack 8. Hmm. Bit of an interesting spot in the top right. And here in the bottom left, we're just going to jam and hopefully we get some calls. Guess we just full jacks to the full pot bet. All right, we're just going to see about the sevens here. Just a lot of bad turn cards for us, so best to try to win the pot here. And we just likely have the best hand and can definitely get called worse. Fold 10-9 off. Fold the 9-5 off. With a 4, we're just not willing to call a 2x pot bet. Shovel Spades does seem to be getting a little bit more aggressive lately, so I think there's a good chance we're going to have to just sort of adjust and give him a little bit more credit than we normally would. Okay, we'll fold the 8 deuce offsuit, and we'll just show down the ace. Wild to check there. That's crazy to check there. Way too much of my range. Checks back, river. Okay, we'll fold the jack 7. Tables aren't super great this morning, but they all have sort of at least, oops, misclick with 3 deuce, a recreational on them. So overall, pretty happy. Here with the ace jack diamonds, we could just jam. I think jamming in a bounty is probably the best play because now we're just kind of in this awkward spot here where we're stuck folding flop. If we were in position, I wouldn't have folded to him. The money would have went in. But yeah, that's a spot where when he's that short, we should just be sticking the money in for sure. He goes 4x open with ace queen versus 34 bigs. We're just going to jam it all in. Pocket jacks. Okay, flipping. Let's see if we'll run it twice. And we'll fold 7-4 in the bottom right. Okay, looks like he'll take the first run. Hopefully we can spike something here. It's a good start. No diamond. Perfect. All right, we'll just chop that up happily. The run it twice is great for keeping the variance low. Okay, pocket aces, very next hand. We'll see what plays out here. I think we just take this exact same line, considering he just saw us do it with ace queen. He'll know we're relatively wide here. Um, so I think it's worth the shot to just jam it into him. Don't feel super great about it because we do kind of want Beaker to come along with his stack. I think if he has queens plus, ace king are pretty much the only hands he's going to put it in with anyways. And so even if we jam there, he'll snap those off, I think. And 10-8 off, we bump up. think we fold the ace four against an under the gun open on 20 bigs. Feels a little too crazy to shove there, but again, with tournaments, I'm definitely not super proficient in like exact tournament like shove spots and everything. Okay. I think we do call here with 6-7 suited. We're in a pretty good spot to try to hit a hand and double up. Here we're going to check back with the ace queen and give shovel spades a chance to go pot pot again. Or over pot, over pot. Fold 7 deuce. And in this spot, like he didn't 3-bet pre, so there's no ace jack, there's no ace king, there's no pocket jacks, there's no pocket kings. Does have ace jack, wow. So he's been doing a lot of, as soon as I check, he goes pot pot. So whether he's bluffing a lot or he's just running into it will be the question. But yeah, his 3-betting is insanely tight. So you have to be cautious with those types of villains because that means they're going to have a really, really strong post flop range still. And he did manage to get paid pretty nice in there in that spot, unfortunately. But again, there's not really much we can do. And on 16 bigs, we just jam the ace jack. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. Snap jams this, okay. Fold the jack 3. And we will just flip over to the 8 table view. Okay, I guess before I do that, if anybody's looking or interested in a cracker, I highly suggest using Hand to Note. You can find the link right there below me. Uh, get 10% off if you use the promo code. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NL50 tables up. We have a couple micro MTTs. Okay, the queen 9, we'll just let that go. We'll fold the jack 5. And the 10-6 suited, we will also bump up. So what do we need here? Oh, we got an inverse ace, queen, and 9s. No 10, unfortunately. So that's the end of that one. Nope. Okay. And we're just going to jam the 6s here on 28 bigs. 3-bet the ace jack offsuit. And 3-bet the ace 10 offsuit. Okay. Well, when it goes shove call, we can get out of the way here. Wow, king queen suited. That is insanity. Called king queen suited. Free fly. Button. 3-bet small blind. Fold 4-bet shove, and he called king queen suited. This is an insane money giveaway there. We'll just get out of the way there. It's a little bit unfortunate there. Beaker here, super tight, just managing to pick up some hands in quite a few spots, I would imagine. And we're just going to block bet the 10s once he pretty quickly checks on the jack. Obviously, there's lots of pocket pairs and ace high that are going to call there, 8x, stuff like that, that we're looking to target with the value bet. Okay. This is a spot, this type of board, high card and two low cards that are excuse me, connected, um, where we want to pretty aggressively attack. I don't think this guy's hand's going to be all that strong on this board, so I'm not going to overbet here with just king X. We want to try to keep his worst kings in, his 8x in, all that kind of stuff. No reason to try to push him out of the hand. Obviously, when he just calls from the big blind, his range is like that beats us on this board is pocket eights, threes, sixes, king eight, king three, king six. All of those are going to be in his range here. And then the rest of his range we just beat. All of his king X, all of his like pocket twos, twos, fours, fives, sevens, stuff like that, that I would not be giving villain credit to three bet with. And they're going to, because they don't three bet enough with like the king X hands, they're going to have a lot of worse kings in this spot. Okay, let's put a queen or a heart up in the top left. It's red. Nice. And we do, yeah, we collect a bounty. Nice. Big bounty too. Great. Guys, tank call, and now we're just going to go bigger here for value. Um, yeah, we're just going to go just a little over half pot here with ace-7 suited. And fold here with the 10-4. You can three, or you can four bet, you can fold with the ace-2 suited. A lot of villains don't three bet enough, so you have to be a little bit more cautious with four betting too crazy, because their three betting range is like significantly stronger than like GTO. So we have to be cautious with firing back a bunch of four bets, especially in like high rake environments. So we kind of dip towards some overfolding in spots. We fold the 9-6. Okay, bump up the king nine suited here. Appreciate everybody watching here on YouTube. Feel free to leave a chat if you're curious about stuff. Have any questions, make sure to hit that like button and definitely check out our Twitch stream as well. Okay. Obviously, this guy's he's going to have a very tight three bet range, but king nine suited when he goes that small is just significantly too strong to do anything but defend with. And we know we have the best hand here, unless he has pocket kings specifically. Um, the question though becomes, do we want to raise here? Um, the only reason we would ever consider raising is if the flush cards roll off, he will shut down, but he might just like call off aces in this spot. But I think we just cross our fingers and roll with it. Really good, really good river card. We don't give him credit for three betting fives, deuces, threes. So I think we only really lose to pocket nines or pocket kings here. And of course, we just snap off. That's disgusting. That's a little bit tilting, I won't lie. Okay. But it did three bet more than I would give him credit for. Three bet, choice full suited, and barreled. Flop turn. Overshove river on, what was it, like deuce, king nine, 3-5 board. Well, what would appear to be a super safe card turned out to be not such a safe card in the end. So a little bit of an unfortunate run out there. Four outed on the river. Okay, top left here. We're just gonna overbet turn once flop goes check check. Ooh, that was a little bit of a tilting one there. But lots of information given. We know he now is willing to double barrel. We know he's willing to three bet semi proper, probably like most of his suited aces, and all of his like king 10, king jacks type hands. Oof, I did not see that one coming. We'll have to be cautious here with our note on him. It seems to be significantly more aggressive than I remember. Sarah Bobera, we do raise into and just shove. We're trying to collect that bounty. That stung. Okay, we'll fold the 5-4 offsuit. Tables aren't super great right now. We basically have more or less pretty nitty regs at all the tables. Okay, we'll 3-bet the 6-7 suited. Bump up the ace-4 off, fold the queen-3 off. Ooh, that hurt. We are stuck calling here, obviously. It's 6-7 suited. Just given pot odds, it doesn't actually matter. Even if you flipped over like pocket aces, we would call here. Um, Shovel spades, when he does that, probably just has the aces himself or kings. Close enough. Okay, we'll check back on the ace here, and then we'll just call off when he bluffs at it. If he check calls here, it's a high likelihood he has like a showdown value hand. We're just gonna let this one go in the bottom right. Yeah, he just probably has a better ace, like an ace-8, ace-9 type hand here. Otherwise, he would have potted turn a good portion of the time. I just think, okay, so maybe he is only potting the nizzles and bluffs. Um, we cover both villains here with an ace. I think we have to just call the bounty. Nice. We actually have the best hand here. Okay, fold the 6-3. We will 4-bet the king queen offsuit this time. Been letting him get away with quite a few 3-bets here, so. Oh, the 7 on the river is so gross. I don't know if we don't have a side pot. He wins the side, I think. Okay. And we're just gonna have to give up here against Uncle Roe, unfortunately. And I think we have to check call now. Gives up ace jack, ace 3. And Chief Evo, I think we just have to call down here. Again, we dodge all the diamonds, so we're in a really good spot, unless we run into Jack Queen again. The deuce 7, we have overcards. We could hit an 8, a queen could be good, a 9 will definitely be good. Nice. Okay, that's good. We got our stack back from the previous hand there. Um, so back to being, even or close to it. Top left, just not playing very good. In the tournament there, kind of giving up a lot of chips on that last hand. Hold the ace-3 off. Against this small of a bet, you could argue maybe just check shoving here, given that they didn't 3-bet pre-flop. So the odds of them having a really strong hand, blind versus blind, is pretty low, but they still have lots of like weak ace X and weak jack X and stuff. Um, I snap jacks back. I thought he might value bet an ace or a jack here, but probably should just lead in this spot. Because we can definitely get called by like a jack X type hand. No king's going to raise very often given that run out. Because there's so many boats that are available. Uh, right? Check back the ace queen here. Okay, double checks. Wonder if we want to value bet now. I think we do. Most of his ace king four bets. I think most of his pocket pairs should be betting this turn card because he's just if we just check back, we have so much equity that we're gaining on the river by drawing to our. I think we just get this in with the king jack suited here by drawing with our ace queen. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Okay, all of our cards are live. We just need to hit one. Oh, now we're crushed. GG's. Yeah, we're dead. We're out. Okay. Then we take that down. Yeah. So I think value betting is good there because he doesn't ever really have ace king. And all of his pocket pairs should have been betting at some point by now. Uh, so yeah, we want to value bet against like ace jack, ace 10, king X, like those types of hands. Not to say they always like he's never gonna check pocket pairs there on the turn. Um, but he should to get value out of like ace X hands and sort of bit of equity denial. In these spots, like these boards, you're not actually technically supposed to be betting that small. But against like weaker regs, weaker villains and stuff who aren't going to attack your small bet sizing, you can literally just like bet small with your bluffs and bet bigger with all your value hands. Can't fold here now. Correct. Well, when he's playing relatively tight and then we check back and he goes pot pot, essentially pot pot, we're just gonna jam queens here. Um, we three bet. Go calls. We should have c bet that flop in a three bet pot maybe. Hmm. The only reason this is a hard, like they're hard calls in these spots is because villains just don't bluff is the issue. He could turn over like a nine, uh, or like a queen 10 type hand, but again, villains just simply don't bluff enough. Uh, I feel like I should call this though. I also feel like I'm beat. Don't like seeing the jack there. But again, that's kind of why too. Like we should just be betting that flop, I think, for value. Because he calls turn, calls flop, turn goes check check, and then if he blasts river, the pot's a bit smaller. We can call easier or fold. I think in a similar scenario, just as easy. But you're never going to be in a bad spot just overfolding at smaller stakes where villains are not willing to sort of bluff uh, most spots. He'll bump up the ace jack offsuit. Aliwa. Guy's opening a little too wide for this to be a three bet here. But if he's going to be snap folding to that sizing on that type of board, I mean, he could have just set mine with pocket pairs. That's one thing you'll also find as well is that most villains are over 9-7 suited can be a three bet there, probably better than three bet it. Um, are kind of over defending certain hands versus three bets. For example, a lot of villains call every single pocket pair to set mine when you three bet and they're in position, which is a big like no no. So when that is the case, you're just printing money by three bet C bet. Um, I think I'm going to call here for a chop. He does have the king. Of course he does. Fucking it. Just three bet C bet because they're calling every single pocket pair. Um, they're just going to be like mass overfold and flop, not overfolding, but mass fold and flops because they're not going to set. You only hit a set one in what 11 times. Um, especially if you find out how that villain is actually playing post flop. I don't think anybody actually C bet this flop, right? No. Okay. But because some villains will float you. If you see bet small, they'll float their pocket pair and fold to the turn barrel. And some villains, if they don't hit their set and there's like a king or an ace or a queen or something out there, they'll just insta give up. Um, I'm gonna check snap if he bets here. So if you can figure out which villain is which, then you can really print money. He just gives up. Come on. Then you can really print money against them. This was a villain specific check here, by the way. Normally you just bet there, try to get called by the trips, the 5x, like that kind of stuff. Okay. This is a spot where you can either see bet relatively large um, or kind of check back with sixes. I think I like betting big here to try to get him to fold out like 8x and pocket sevens, sometimes 9x type hands, um, or like ace queen, ace jack type hands that have a ton of equity against us. Normally, I would check back with most pocket pairs, but in this scenario, we have a bunch of back doors to barrel on any five, any seven, any 10, any club, and any six for value. Right, we get to double barrel with, and because of that, we're going to take all that double barrel potential and like the fold equity we have by barreling big and just kind of attack him. Okay, we'll bump up the queen five suited, and we'll just call the king jack suited. We'll keep a nice big wide range for him. Need some strong hands in your big blind calling range as well. And we're definitely not three betting everything we should be right now. So need to adjust to that. We're playing, I think, a little bit too cautious just because we're sort of rebuilding that roll a little bit. Yeah, definitely double barrel here for value. So 5-6 continues calling, 6-7 continues calling, 8-9 continues calling now. Hand like 8-6 continues calling, ace-x with diamonds continues calling. Then hands like pocket fives, pocket sevens, pocket eights, 9-10, 6-9, they all check raise. Um, so I think we just fold here. Just villains, most villains are not check raising their combo draws, so it's like they're just going to check call there with their combos and combo draws and stuff. So when you get check raised, you can just kind of dip out of the hand and comfortably move on to the next one. And then down the road, when you see if the villain's actually a decent reg and is willing to do um, to actually check raise turn with flush draws and combo draws and stuff, then you can start calling there. But depending on pre-flop action, a lot of the time the turn check raise is a turn check shove. Okay. Bump up the aces, fold the nine deuce, raise the queen jack hearts. Okay. And we're just going to take a similar line to what we normally take. Check flop. And overbet turn. This is a board he should pretty much be leading 100%. Calls. And we just value bet aces on the river. And fold if we get shoved on. If he thinks he has the best hand with like a 10x, he just calls. We do get shoved on probably by 9x. And we'll bump up the ace queen. Hmm. Weird that he would check back flop. So we're just going to attack that. Crazy spot to not see bet there. And we'll just check back the ace queen. Okay, we do spike the queen. We'll fire at another overbet here with a value hand. Uncle Row is a regular, so we do need to attack um, with some strength in a lot of spots against him. And I think we still need to bet for value even on that king. Okay, and we're going to take a check overbet line again. Oh, it was overbet pot, eh? Interesting. The thing is with like I haven't seen anything but like the nuts from him when he's like overbarreling in spots like this. So there's a good chance whether he has anything or not, our hand's just going to be like dominated and we just end up burning money when a diamond hits. So we can just comfortably fold to him until we know that he's actually starting to, um, wow, ace McCoy. Okay, we're gonna three bet the queen 10 suited, and we're gonna bump up the ace four. We're just gonna check back here with the ace king suited on this board. Obviously with the nut flush draw, we're just gonna call here. We do get there, which is nice to see. And we are gonna three bet beaker again. Okay, we're gonna raise here, but we're not gonna get too crazy with it. A lot of the times I would just shove, but there's lots of like 8, 9, 9, 10, pocket sevens, pocket eight type hands in his range that we actually just lose to straight up. Um, so we don't want to get too crazy in that spot, I don't think. But you could also argue that this type of villain will call all of his flushes, and then I'm not sure how crazy that gets. So I think we just show down the ace here now. I was gonna say we lose to like pocket pairs a ton of the time in this spot, but okay, we take it down. Again, 100% C bet on these boards here. Yeah, it's just super crazily tight. So like these types of villains, when you see like these stats, stuff like this, where it's just like never raising, just limping in. Yeah, you just have to attack them. Like anytime you get a chance to open into them, you open into them, um, and just kind of keep pushing. Let me readjust this stream setup a little bit here. See if there's any other. No, there's another table popping up. That's Okay. We'll jump back to 6 table setup for now. There we go. Okay. Okay. Fold the 7 deuce off. Okay, bottom right, ace four suited in a 3-bet pot. We are going to bet. Bit of an unfortunate run out here on this middle table. We I don't think we can value bet here because we lose to everything. And I don't think anything really calls us. Pocket tens might call because they beat the board, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe we should value bet there and try to get called by pocket pairs because they do beat the board. Hmm. Definitely close, I think, in that specific spot. Okay. Ace is a really good turn card. This would be a bet check bet scenario. Fold jack three. Yeah, against pot bet on this run out, we're just going to give up with the ace. Fold the 7-8 offsuit. So if you guys are checking out the poker stream right now, make sure you follow over on Twitch as well. We're also thinking about getting a Discord going. I'll just call the Queen Nine suited here as well. I feel like the Discord is a great idea when it comes to like streaming and stuff, at least when you're starting out, to kind of help build that solid sort of following. We do still have a gutter here, so we are going to be blasting turn once he checks to us. We're mostly though, we literally are just repping hands like maybe pocket fours, like 10-4 suited, king four suited, king 10 suited, king three, 10-3, 4-3 suited. Those are all in our like big blind range. And then we obviously have four outs to the nizzles, which it sounds like we would have done. We didn't make it. It's right. It's heard the big trigger. But anyways, yeah, so we got the Twitch is up and running. YouTube's up and running. See how everything plays out today. We'll be um, cameraed up, microphoned up for as long as we can be. Try to put in a semi-decent stream at least today, but we'll just kind of see how everything plays out. Fold the 7-5, fold the 10-7 off. Okay, fold the queen deuce, the 10 deuce, the 7-3. Okay, fold the 9 deuce. And we'll bump the 5-4 suited. Here, actually, bottom right, we're going to switch to mid opens. Villains naturally under defend to them, so you automatically have created an advantage for yourself. And we'll fold the queen 8 off. And we're going to bump the king queen. And we'll defend the 10-8 suited this time versus barreling on it. We're going to 3-bet the king queen off, open the 10-9. We're going to check to villain the 10-8 board. Does hit. Okay, we're going to lead out here with pair plus diamond draw, even on the ace. and we're gonna go 3/4 pot on this board. There was no four bet, so it's significantly less likely that he has a really strong hand here, except maybe pocket tens. And we don't have a ton, but we do have a gutter to the nizzles. And I think most villains overfold to like 3/4 pot C bets or fold properly potentially, but either way, I'm just gonna give up here when it's called. We have one back door. Do have an ace. Probably need to call here. Blind versus blind scenario, so ranges are super wide. Villain does check turn. It's interesting. Not sure, like, if this is probably a spot where we should like 2x pot shove a lot of the time here, I think, with ace five suited. Um, because we get a lot of folds. It also looks like super bluffy. So it kind of depends on if villain will fold there. Not a great run out so far for the jacks. And somehow our jacks are down to a high card now. We do beat the fives though. Fold the 9-7. Okay, so currently rolling with 6 tables of NL50. Um, for those of you guys just joining, we've been kind of crushing this week, running excessively hot though. So we'll keep that in mind. But we are rolling and we are on a pretty big heater, so nothing to complain about there. So no three bet pre. We know he was three betting like ace four, ace five suited and stuff. So this is a spot where we're just going to bet really, really small, barrel turn, and then probably big bet river, uh, just because villains shown a willingness to three bet kind of a semi-standard range, which means he doesn't have aces, doesn't have kings, doesn't have ace king, doesn't have ace four there, probably doesn't have king four suited either. He doesn't definitely doesn't have king four offsuit. Oops. Misclick here. We were going to set up for a bet. Okay, what's going on here? Okay. I think I'd rather just like four bet here with ace jack suited. Um, because this villain is pretty tight with his three bets. I think this is an easier way to play the hand. You gotta at least give him some kind of credit for doing this light when it goes call call. Um, So I think ace jack suited is a really good spot to just four bet here. The hand's too it's too strong of a hand to fold, but you don't really feel comfortable calling because you're just going to end up call folding a lot. And then if you hit the ace and it goes bet 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 bet, you're just going to get stacked by like ace king, ace queen, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, one thing we do need to study a bit more is deep stack play because I'm not sure how much having like because we have 150 bigs here, how much that changes our three bet range if it makes it wider, tighter. So we're gonna need to look into that. And obviously we do value bet the king 10. Probably should bet turn realistically. Checking back turn there. Is that what we did? I hope not. Yeah, just autopilot, check, check, check. That's wild. Definitely bet flop, see bet flop here, 100% of the time. Then you can go check turn and then bet river with that line. You can probably get away because there's enough draws out there. I'm just going bet bet. Um, and against most villains, not that I do it 100% either, but in theory, against most villains, you should be just pushing the value, like double barreling, because villains don't check raise the turns enough. Um, but they will call with all those draws. So yeah, if you're not betting the turn enough, you're kind of missing out on a ton of value, and that'll really diminish your win rate as well. Okay, we're gonna three bet here again with the jackers. Fold the queen eight off. I guess it makes sense. Stream's relatively dead this morning, but Sunday mornings usually pretty dead when we try to stream. And we'll fold the ace three, fold the five deuce. Fold the 10 and deuce of diamonds, fold the 7-4 suited. And we will bump up the pocket tens here. Fold the 8-3 off, fold, check the 9-3, that's fine. Can just ISO it probably also would be fine. So we kind of have this dynamic against shovel spades where we do a lot of like check over bet turn versus him. Okay, he bets, we call. I'm just gonna check to him here. Bump up the 8-4 suited against these villains. Check call. And we're gonna check call river as well. He gives up. Yeah. So that's fine. So this is like a great, that's kind of a great scenario for us. If he's been doing that like pot bluffing when we check to him a bunch, because now he knows that we're starting to check to him with stronger hands, which will make him kind of do a double take on if he's going to actually continue like blasting pot sizes against us. He was definitely over betting with pot sizes for a long time there, so potentially that he's kind of shut that down a bit. Okay, we'll bump up the ace-5 off. And we're going to double barrel on the jack. And we're going to 3-bet the jack-9 suited. Okay, we do get called. Pretty good flop for us. Double checks, which would be unexpected for like a 6-7, pocket sixes, pocket sevens, pocket nine type hand. Fold the ace king. We don't have a ton invested here, so we're probably just going to let this go. Again, the easiest way is just to kind of move on from these hands against most villains, just because they're not worth fighting with. Because when they're finally showing aggression, they usually have the nizzles. This case scenario, it is tempting to call, just because this specific villain likes to try to prove a point, I think. Uh, but, and I kind of give him credit for not playing certain hands that great. Um, I'm just trying to decide if I do want to call down here and act this. The issue is like you shouldn't have sixes, sevens, nines, 6-7, 7-9, but it's possible he would check those on the king because I 3-bet pre, so I have a lot of king X in my range. So then I value bet and he can go for the check raise with pocket sixes, pocket sevens, pocket nines. So actually, I think I like just folding there. I like folding there more now than I did a second ago. Okay. Can we make two pair here? Flop checked around. We do go big here with the ace 10. We're just trying to attack the times that he might have like ace 4 or like an ace X hand that he's not obviously going to fold right away to 1-bet. It's a top pair. These types of boards, again, we just see bet 100%. It's just a range bet on these boards uh, all the time. Let's switch it up on it. Normally we overbet, so we'll min bet this time, see how that plays out. Worked for now. Okay. Okay, fold the eight. Ace deuce. Fold the queen five. Defend the ace deuce suited. Okay, we're gonna check the villains here. Fold the queen four. Okay, we make trips on the turn. No action. So unfortunately, the stream's relatively dead right now. Fold the three, three bet deep pocket fives. There we go. Three bets getting to a little bit better there, above 10%, 12% on most spots. Okay, so we have all the ace king, obviously. He might defend ace king some portion of the time for just a call. We do pick up a gutter ball, so I think at this point we need to be double barreling. Um, Basically trying to fold out anything that's like 10 jacks, 9x. Um, and then if he has like ace 10, ace jack, ace queen, ace 9 suited, they're all going to continue calling. Um, but we want to try to push him off of some of those like 9x and 10 type hands, which I think generally speaking, most villains are going to be over folding. Okay, fold here, fold the 8, 6 and the 7 deuce. Okay, fold the queen 4. So let's pull up the graph here. Oh, we got another table of NL50 up. We'll jump in there. Okay, so let's just give me a second here. Again, just before I dip it off screen, if you're looking for a poker tracker, I highly recommend Hand to Note. Basically tracks your hands uh, and your win rates, amongst a whole bunch of other stuff, but there's a promo code right below the video here. If you use that, you save 10%. Um, Now we're just adjusting this off. Put that up. Okay, perfect. Okay, we're gonna let the a6 go, fold all this. We'll float in with the fives with this villain, fold the king six, and we're just kind of looking for hands against shovel spades that we can bink sometimes um, to sort of. Okay, it's interesting to not bet there unless he had the nizzles, so I'm just gonna bet here. If we get called, we'll just be done with the hand. But if unless he has an ace or like he checked two pair for some strange reason, um, he's probably just folding. Maybe king 10 type hand calls or something, queen 10. Guess that makes sense enough to check the flop. Okay, and we're going to value bet the jack here on the turn. Okay, so we were about to pull up the poker craft, go raft, and we'll bump the ace five suited. Okay, that's a pretty good board for us. I don't think we need to blast super big on this board. But yeah, with the flush draw and stuff, we're definitely going to be betting here. Okay, and we're gonna do double barrel again here, half pot. All right. And I'm gonna go big here and make it look like we're trying to push him off of a chop. So we're only losing to pocket jacks, I would say, and I don't think he gets to the river with pocket jacks too often, or like quad fours. Um, wow, he comes over the top. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna jam this. Wonder if he's trying to push me off a chop, or if he just has ace queen a bunch here. King jack, nice. Stack him. I think we're calling for sure here. Re-raise, he calls. Okay, so he calls the button. Pocket fives are super unlikely because we have them. He could have pocket deuces or like ace deuce suited, but he probably three bets ace deuce suited. Uh, Pocket queens definitely three bet. Ace queen, I would think three bets button, but some villains do call it. But yeah, I think we have to call here with ace five. Does have ace queen. That just seems crazy to me. Maybe called MP open on button with ace queen off. But yeah, that's fine. It's kind of a crazy hand. Um, I would think he would should be three betting most often there, but we did stack him over here, so we'll happily trade off 100 bigs for you know whatever this was, 20 bigs or something like that, 40 bigs. So we made 60 on those two hands. Could be worse. Um, we're just gonna lead out here. We just have so many cards we can double barrel on. But yeah, that's a spot where you're beating a ton of his value. Probably giving him too much credit to think he's trying to push us off of a chop. But we literally only lose to ace queen here. Uh, we're even beating like ace king. So yeah, we literally lose to ace deuce and ace queen. So I think that's fine. GTO ace queen's probably a call on the button, but I think with the rake structure and stuff, it's probably best to just be three betting in those spots. We do three bet ace eight suited some portion of the time there, but we'll let that one go. Check the king queen off with the ace deuce. Oh, right. So yeah, we're gonna pull up our stats here for a minute. Check here, check the ace five off. Pull the stats up. King seven off, we'll let go. Fold the king off. We've definitely been stacked couple of times, so I'm not super sure where we're even sitting today. We've stacked a couple, we won a couple. I feel like we've been winning a lot of the smaller pots though. Just a really not a great board for ace king, so we'll just kind of move on from that hand. You don't want to be over c betting though against semi decent regs. Because you'll just end up losing a lot of money. Because then once you like c bet check, they just bet and continue on their merry way, and you just end up folding like way too often. Fold queen seven. We're just gonna bet here. After it's gone check check, eight high is not gonna win often enough, so you need to start betting to try to push them off of small pairs and 10x and all those types of hands. Queen jack off, another gun open from this guy. He seems to be relatively tight, so I think we're just gonna leave it alone. Move on to the next hand. I don't really think over three betting is going to be too much of a mistake um, at these stakes. Okay, no action. So bet pretty big. We get called. The nine ball rolls off. That completes like some jack queen type hands. Um, it also like gives him more reason to be calling like jack 10, jack queen, king jack, et cetera, et cetera. So I think best practice we probably just give up on turn. We do beat some like five, six, seven, eight, like those types of hands of clubs. The king pairing makes it less likely that he has a king, and more makes me kind of want to barrel here to fold him off like 4x and stuff. Um, but I think we just beat enough hands here that we could probably check. Losing to ace queen is not great, but again, crazy like um, there's no three bet there. We're just taking a quick break, and then we'll be right back. 3, 4 minutes, something like that. We are back. Okay, let's hold here. We get led into here. We're definitely defending with overcards and double back doors and block bet here. And we'll let that go to a full size pot bet. Fold jack five. I guess we can slide this one down so you guys can actually see it. Let's just retable that. It keeps bringing it up. It's annoying. Okay. Shorthanded a little bit here, so it's trying to get that to squeeze on there. Perfect. And we overbet the ace queen. And we're going to value bet the 9 and bump the 8 to the 7 suited. And we will call down here with 9x to a min bet. And we are going to give up on the ace. Okay. And we barrel here with the flush draw that we picked up. Sorry when there's like a lot of tables that are shorthanded, 3-4 villains. It does get a little bit more difficult to continue on here. Okay, we check here. All right. And Nori calls again. We're gonna check back here and hopefully we can spike a king, a seven, or a diamond. I don't really give this villain much credit to be willing to fold much. So we can definitely have the best hand here, but villain will turn up with a lot of like jack X's. Shit. Yeah, okay. Starting to lose track. We're out of time banks. We'll check down the seven here. Yeah, we just lose to like jack X a lot there. There's just no value in barreling um, the turn as a bluff, just because he doesn't fold anywhere near enough. So that type of villain, we just want to be realizing our equity and attacking it when we do hit, and barreling and blasting when we have really strong hands. With those marginal holdings with a bunch of equity, you want to be a little bit more cautious in those scenarios. And we do defend here with the flush draw. And we do call river here when we spike the king. We do lose again. All right, we're going to fold here, check this. So this guy's like 3-betting range, but 9%. I think we just jam tens here. It's too good of a spot for him to be really light with a bunch of fish, or a bunch of recreationals opening. And we can't really like, we don't want to like 3-bet to like 30 something because there's just too many bad flops for us. So yeah, we just want to attack there with tens and basically just jam it in. Rather call like 5-6 here, 6-7 here than pocket fives. Pocket fives just are like kind of too dead. Okay, bump the 8-3 suited. MacGyver opens to 3x. We're just going to get out of the way with our suited connector. Okay. We're definitely value betting the 10 here. Okay. Queen of Hearts isn't great. We still beat 5x hands. But outside of that, we're just like his entire range pretty much gets there on the turn. So we can just get out of the way. Value bet the fives. One, we don't expect him to have a king when he double checks, so we can value bet against like ace high. And two, when he has a queen or an eight, we can bet turn, bet river, and push him off those hands. Um, So kind of a double benefit in that spot. He does check raise flop. We call, then he pretty quickly checks turn. We're just going to show down the tens here. Yeah. He did actually have the 10 ball, but okay, we'll defend the 10-9. We're going to bet the 7-5 suited in the limp pot. Full pot, but we're still going to defend here with diamonds. And we're going to lead into him just because we don't give him. I don't think he calls a shove. Nice. He might call a shove, but I don't think he calls a shove often enough. So we just want to attack here. But yeah, he might. I mean, we might have missed out on 24 bigs there with ace, king, ace of diamonds. Hard to say. Okay, bump the ace, king, fold the ace, six. A lot of short stack tables. So kind of chasing our thought process a bit here. Okay, ace, king, MacGyver raises. I'm just calling here. Um, yeah, just fold. It's probably tilted after that last hand for him to actually three bet and then blast pot like that. I'd say he's pretty much tilted 100%. Oh, we were going to show our stats for everything. Okay. Raise the deuces. Raise the ace king. Bump the queen jack. Barreling here on the diamond with the ace of diamonds. And we're just going to see bet here. And we're going to bet this board for value. Lots of club draws, straight draws, flush draws, all that kind of stuff. So we just want to bet for value. And we're going to bet river for value. If he shoves, we probably just fold, even though we have top two. He's just not bluffing, and the only hands that shove here are going to be like 9-10 and like 8x. Ace, probably ace 8, king 8, queen 8, jack 8, those types of hands. We're hoping he has like king queen at this point. Okay, we'll fold the 10-8 off. King 7 off, 5-3 off. Fold, 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 fold. Yeah. Okay, let's pull up. All right, we'll just pull up for today because we've had a few big wins, a few big losses. Fold the 5 deuce, the 6-7, the jack 4, the 8-6. Raise the king 4 suited. Okay, the ace 6. Okay, against this villain, we have a gut shot. We're just gonna bet here. We're actually gonna take a bet, small bet line. The small bet keeps all the draws calling, and it also basically only gets him to raise like value hands most of the time. He didn't even he went so fast he didn't even consider my sizing in that spot. Okay, we're hoping Inori wants to make a move here. Not today. Okay, weak check. We will defend the king through suited. It's a little close given the sizing, but only four-handed. Or actually, four-handed. It's not close at all. Just an easy defend four-handed. Okay. Back here, bit of a misclick with the ace jack suited on that opening size. So I'm just gonna look to show down now, and I'm just gonna min click value bet the ace. He does call, so it's likely he just checked back an ace and then banked trips on the turn. It's not much else. It's going to check back and then call. Or the jacks calling for the bad beat. Okay, and we'll just, oh, man, what's going on here? This little min click's killing us. That's brutal right too. Yeah, just a bad min click there. Okay, we don't expect to get squeezed out of the hand very often, and by very often I mean pretty much never. So we can float in with the threes. It's probably better practice just to three bet them. But villain is pretty call happy. Darn. Okay, we get two calls. Again, we're just gonna small bet here. Happily call off against the Packers, and we're gonna value bet the nines. That's a really good card for us in the top left. We'll let King Jack go. Fold King 4. Okay, MacGyver comes along. Interesting. Okay. If we lose to nines or Jack nines, so be it. We just want to jam this in here and hope to get called by a flush. Nice. Unfortunate run out for him in that spot. Okay, we're gonna bump up the ace six offsuit. Okay, there we go. All right, fold the 10 deuce, the Jack deuce, pocket fours, Jack four off, and value betting the queens in the bottom right. Okay. Okay, raise the king 10 suited. Calls flop, leads into us on the jack turn. Then he checked, so we're gonna go for value on the river now. We're gonna fold the fours, and we're gonna value bet the flush draw. Not value bet, sorry, but bluff with all that equity. Okay, so we three bet him pre. He calls. We're gonna go half pot twice on this board, and he just lets it go, which is pretty much sort of what's expected. We are going to be pulling up our stats here in a minute. I do need to dip out for 2 seconds, so um, we'll dip out and then we will pull our stats out as soon as I am back. Hoping I have enough time bank to not leave the table on anybody here. And we're going to three bet the ace 10 off once we just get called there. Okay, we got three bet here, relatively small given our sizing, so we do defend here, Jack 9 suited. Pretty good flop. Goes 10. We're definitely defending at least one bet here. And he blasts again. We're just gonna let that go. Five's not great because it kills like a bunch of our outs, like basically down to a 9 ball now if we are behind. Okay. Fold here, fold here, fold here. Okay, we will be right back. Just finish playing out this ace king hand, I guess. Okay, with three bet, we get called. We're gonna value bet the ace jack. Okay, we get multiple callers here. We're just going to continue value betting small. There is going to be a lot of like queen jack in their range. Queen jack, king jack, those types of hands. There's really not going to be too much pocket queens plus in this scenario. Um, should have the best hand when he just calls down. Nice. You could argue that we should just be going bigger there as well, but I think it's tough. I'm back. Cash games. Okay, yeah, we got lots of time. Okay. I will not be long. I'll be right back. here. All right, we're back. Okay, so we'll let everybody file in here a little bit, and then let's just check the analytics. Click-through rate maybe is super low, or we're just not getting any analytics. Okay, we'll defend the king is suited. Reviews, yeah. Everything's low this morning. It is Sunday morning though, so relatively expected. And we'll fold the king deuce, the 8-5, the 10-6, we will bump up. Okay, we'll fold the jack and deuce. Bump up the ace queen off. Okay, fold 10-3 suited. And we will defend the eights here. And we're 3-betting king jack suited for value. Bump the king 9 off. Fold the 10-6 off. Whoa, MacGyver 4-bets. Get out of the way, folks. Run for the hills. Okay, we spike a 9 ball on the turn. We get lead pot into. We're gonna call here. I mean, full pot, full pot. I think we just have to call down. I don't think we can value raise here because you just run into 6x too much versus pot pot. Um, Unfortunately, we just had a hand that obviously we're not folding king nine there. But you could maybe make an argument for it, knowing that we're basically just losing to 6x every single time there. And then we're just gonna bet small on the river. Okay, bump the a7 suited. Queen jack. Okay, we just run into a straight there. Okay. Back doors, ace high, definitely defend. Okay, we spike our ace on the turn. Make a straight up here in the top right. I think we'll check here and value bet river. Value bet the straight here in the top right. Value bet river in the bottom left. And we can 3-bet or call the deuces. I think 3-betting will just long term play out better. And we're just going to mark Beast as a recreational because he doesn't have auto top up on. Okay, pretty standard spot here to make a c-bet. That is a beautiful, beautiful turn card. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And we'll just double barrel here into him. ISO with the ace jack suited. Calls. So we pretty much only lose to slow played aces now. Slow played kings, slow played queens, and jack 10. We beat all the king, queen, ace, queen type hands. So yeah, we're just gonna jam our set. Um, we're just gonna stick the money in here in the top right. He does tank fold. Ace could have killed our action if he did have like king, queen, or something like that. And then here in the top right, we're way ahead of jack 9 with ace jack suited. He only has 2 outs. Any diamond kills it completely. Any ace kills it completely. Picks up quite a few outs. Triples his outs or doubles his outs almost. So tilted. Well, it's good to get the suckouts in those spots, because you know that money's just going to come right back soon enough. But yeah, crazy run out there to have the top pair top kicker get beaten versus runner. Okay. Man, why is the stream dead as nails this morning? Okay, raise the Jack 9 suited. Wonder if it's just to. I guess most of the watchers are probably not around right now. Let's just pull off some of these certain tags. Okay. Even with the 9 ball here, we're just going to overbet. Basically, having the 9 prevents Zarla essentially from having a set, and when they don't 3-bet, they don't have aces, kings, or ace king. So there's pretty much no scenario where they can withstand an overbet, a barrel, and a shove on the river, unless they just go check call mode with like ace jack, something like that. Uh, which at these stakes, you don't need to go into just like straight calling, um, because like villains can be barreling and stuff like that because they don't. So yeah, like obviously you're just gonna like fold those spots. Okay, we're just gonna try to sniff out a little bit of value here with our oat. We're just destroying uh, that flop. Obviously, there's lots of like Jack 10, 6, 7 clubs, um, pocket deuces, stuff like that. There's still tons of hands that'll call ace X. Uh, but yeah. Okay, same thing here. We're just going to overbet for value, just because we do it as a bluff a lot of the time. Not necessarily on this specific board, um, but like it's still good to add in every once in a while against certain villains, who are pretty relatively decent regs anyways, like Zarla and some of the other um, regs at the table, and or anyone who just watches the stream. Like we just need them to know that we do it with not just bluffs, not just the nuts, etc. So that's kind of one aspect of streaming that has to be watched, is that you are staying relatively balanced. Because if people are watching you play and you're literally talking about how you're not balanced in certain spots, then they can obviously take advantage of it. But I try to generally just lead on hand reading, rely on my hand reading more than anything. This board though, we just go small on. And we give up. Basically, like on this board, we're c-betting because he calls out of the small blind, so we're targeting all of like pocket nines and under. But when he does call, there's just too much like Jack 10, Queen 10, King Jack, like Ace Jack, Ace 10 type hands, in a lot of villains' range that they don't 3-bet. So we just kind of get out of the way. Once he checks, it becomes significantly more tempting to bluff here. Um, but I don't think Queen X folds anymore. We beat all of like any like flush. I think I'm gonna bluff here at this. I just don't think we ever win here with 10x. So I want to try to fold off like just a shitty ace or a bad king or something. We'll let the king free suited go for now. Okay, we'll fold the 9-5. Anyway, so like we were saying, stats for today so far, we were gonna pull those up here. Give you graph. So we're up. Let's see if, oops. Okay, hold on. Up about 4 buy-ins right now. See if it's still, yeah, there we go. That'll actually be on screen too. So far this morning, um, started strong, dipped off, but we've made a pretty solid comeback. Uh, Peaked out at 235 and we're at 223 right now. So pretty much at our peak for the day, running pretty clean as well. Um, so yeah, pretty happy with all that so far. We are going to defend here versus that bet with the 10. We're going to c-bet here, and we're going to 3-bet over here. Let's get that out of the way. Down here, 5, 6, 7, 8. He went so small. I'm actually gonna bluff this. We block 9, 10, and his small sizing just doesn't suggest that he has a straight here, or even a set or bluff, or like sorry, a boat or anything like that. So yeah, we can just target that donk bet. Sometimes you're wrong there, but most of the time you're just gonna get the fold and win. Okay, we're gonna bet this board 8, 6, 9. We actually have more of this board than villain does um, in heads up matches. Mind you, that's assuming they're playing proper and like three betting their like suited connectors and stuff. But he has a lot of villains play too tight, so they in the big blind they actually fold a bunch of their smaller cards as well. Um, so you end up being able to fold out a lot of their range. Fold queen three. The Digitarienko. He's a pretty decent rig. Plays up to like NL 500, NL 200, NL 100. Plays a bunch of PLO. So um, obviously, I'll have pretty decent like three betting ranges and stuff. Okay. This specific board, generally speaking, when we see bet it, we go big. We have a gut shot. We have a backdoor flush draw. So we're just going to bet big here. Snap calls again. Again, I think we just double barrel here with the gutter. I think I'm starting to pick up on the fact that this guy just likes to call a lot of flops, and then we'll bluff barrel if you give up. That'll probably be our short clip for today out of the stream. Will be this run, even though it was like a short stack run out, it was still a crazy run out. If you guys are just joining the stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to check out Twitch as well. If you open the description, you can scroll kind of down towards the bottom of it, and you'll see the link to Twitch, like the YouTube link to it. Uh, you just yeah, you open the description, scroll down a little bit to where you see like the channel title, and then below that there's videos about, and then the Twitch like clickable link from YouTube or whatever. Okay, turn the set. He call our flop girl. Is that what happened there? Yeah, we bet he called. Okay. We're gonna go small here, but I want to go. Well, we're not going that small. He's got enough chips that we have to go big enough to try to make his river call just like mandatory, unless he has nothing. But yeah, he's getting less than a pot size bet, so it's gonna be pretty. A nine, a jack, like 6, 7, obviously, but like he has to pretty much call everything here. Um, unless he just has a busted flush draw, then he can probably let it go. But it's also crazy to think you get to this point with like 9, 10 clubs, and you just fold out and don't just jam turn. Hmm, hmm. Okay, and yeah, we're just betting everything against MacGyver. We're never doing anything but, and the jacks would bump up. Once he calls, we're done with the hand, though. We don't have enough to. Okay, well, now I have to bet because I just can't win. Essentially, here we're just trying to fold out any pair that he might have. Once he doesn't value bet river himself, he's either like slow playing and going for a check raise, or he's scared of the flush, scared of the straight. Theoretically, you don't if you don't block bet, then you don't have necessarily a strong enough value hand, so you can get bluffed a lot more. Okay, they do shove here. We're all in. I think this is a spot I'm just gonna jam. So yeah, I think we just shove it in here. Doesn't feel great if he snaps off, but he's just gonna have so much like weak 10 or weak 6x hands. And he just ends up folding all of those. And against this, the Packer 1969. Yes, run it twice for you, sorry. Um, he's just so tight. There's no reason to check here. Like the big reason to check here is to give him a reason, like give him a chance to like bluff or bet and this and that. But if they're never going to do that, you also, checking, defending your or strengthening your checking range, like all that shit. But if they're never going to actually bet any of their hands there or bluff, then we just need to bet for value and roll. Okay, we're just going to see bet here with the ace six suited, bump the jack 10 off, and bump the 9-10 off. Okay. I'm not sure here. I want to raise, but it's so short stacked. But I think Vegetarianko um, would normally ISO us, but because he's so short stacked, it kind of just creates this weird like scenario where he doesn't want to like ISO raise us light because then this guy can easily be limp shoving a ton. And we're just gonna stick the money in here. We have bottom pair and diamonds, so we just put the money in and basically just like flipping, no matter what he has. Even like pocket aces, I think we're still flipping against. Maybe not quite, but at least 40% against them. All right, fold king five, queen four, and we're just gonna see right here the queen seven. Again, a similar scenario here where villain's just not going to have a lot of strong king X. Uh, like all the king queens blocked, king jacks kind of blocked as well. They don't have pocket jacks, they don't have pocket queens, they don't have pocket kings, they don't have ace king. They shouldn't have ace jack. So we're just going to check back here when we hit the queen because I think we're just beating a lot of his like jack 10, jack 9 type hands. And then we'll call a river bet because they'll bluff it. Or if they don't, we're just going to value bet it ourselves and try to get like jack 10, jack 9 to call. Even ace jack at this point, but again, ace jack should have just three bet pre. Okay, we got a double gutter here. We're just gonna blast turn. Could definitely overbet as well there. Actually, I think I like overbet better. Just 'cause villain's mass overfold to it. And here we're just gonna try to go a little bit bigger than 33, just to try to squeeze a little bit of extra value out of him from his 9x and 6x and king x and 7x type hands. Excuse me. Again, we don't have to be super cautious with villains recognizing seeing like a difference between 33 and 45% like bet sizing or anything like that. And multi-way, the more people in the pod, the smaller our bet sizing is, no matter what the board is. But we're in a really good scenario here, multi-way, to hit a monster. We'll let the ace queen go here. We will squeeze it some portion of the time. Omar does call. I'm not going to overbet just because the pot's already pretty big. But I am just going to bet because he, like I said, has shown a tendency to call a lot of flops and fold a lot of turns. Um, so when we have all this equity, we're just going to rely on that read and just keep blasting into him. Looks like Twitch stream's pretty been dead all day. It's hard to get viewership over on Twitch. Okay. I think we'll just let that hand go this time. Basically in that spot, there's that sizing. It's a four bet or a fold. The option is yours. And we just mix. Usually I use Drojan because they have the randomizer, but I think I'm just gonna double barrel here with the jack. We'll let the queen nine go. Right, get out of the way here. I don't even know if he does that with king jack, to be honest. And we will defend the queen 10 off. Fold queen 3. Check here, fold here. Should be 100% c-bet here on this board. Jack 8-3. Okay, once they check back, it's pretty much going to be like 8x, 9x, um, pocket sevens, stuff like that. So we need to start going big here to try to push them off of those hands. Given his stack size, I'll just flip fives in. Donk lead this board. Call that here. And then we're going to go oversize again. Okay, fold here, bet the sixes, and we'll defend the fives, the small three bet, even though short stacked. So that's that. So that's something to be cautious about on these types of boards. Jack 8-3 you should be c betting 100%. So it's like when villains don't c bet, it's almost always like weak showdown value. So you should try to push your advantage there in those spots. We're going to defend here again against this like really small three bet, just because we know the Packers is going to come along. So we're going to have a really good opportunity to um, hit a set multi-way. And both of these villains are going to tell us what they have. Here we three bet Vegetarianko. We flop the gut shot, so we do continue blasting, pretty standard. This spot here, we're going to do a little bit of pot control and keep his range relatively wide here going to the turn. He does check. We're going to go for a bit of value now against all of his like Jack King with a heart, Jack Queen with a heart, Jack 10 with a heart, just like King 10 with a heart. We can also use the hearts to kind of protect ourselves because villain now is not going to be like blasting with ace queen, ace king. So we don't have to worry about that either. Can't fold the queen 7 off. I missed a bet here. Once villain checked back this flop, we should overbet turn. We didn't have really that much equity, but I still think we should overbet turn. We could have three bet pre. Both are fine, I think. Fold 10-7. Okay, we're gonna bump the ace jack off. Um, yeah, I think we'll just bet here for value. And we'll fold the 7-5 and we'll bump the 7-8 off, fold the king 3. And we'll fold the jack 4 and bump the king 10 offsuit. Okay, flop two pair here. Against this villain, we're just going to be going for value like crazy. Jack will change that. He did tank on the jack, which is something to keep in mind, which means he considered probably leading out here a lot of the time when that jack hit. And now our hand's just like shriveled up. Yeah, we just have an easy fold now. But that little like hesitation on the jack, which generally means he's like excited about it. So we can just get out of the way. Fold 6 deuce off. Fold the king 6 off. Fold the 3 deuce off. Fold the 8-5 off. Fold the 10-8 off. Okay, we're gonna 4-bet here. Take down. Fold the 6-7 offsuit as well. Fold the king 4 here. Okay. Oh, what did I do to my camera? Hold on. Wait, let me just. Or no, the camera's right. Okay, never mind. I forgot when we don't have that eighth table up there that it looks like that. Okay, we'll bump up the Jack 10 suited, fold the King Deuce. Okay, we need to mark this villain as well. Recreational. Okay. Three bet the fives here. You can defend the fives. Everything is fine. Um, yeah, he seems aggressive enough. We're just gonna check raise here with our gutter in the top left. That's good. It went through. I didn't realize he was that short stacked, so that wasn't super great. Because if he shoves there, I mean, we're folding, but like it's a bad fold because we're pretty well pocketed, I think. I'm very damn close to it. So 100 Bs deep, that's fine. Not 100 big blinds deep, don't like it really at all. Okay. Anybody checking out the stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Definitely helps promote and grow the channel. Discord coming soon. Figure out a spot to add that. I guess we can probably add it right here, beside the trackers. And we're gonna actually go really small here, just 20%. Buffalo's in a weird, awkward spot because MacGyver's still in the hand. So it kind of um, is gonna trap him, where he's not gonna get like bluffy because there's still a third person to act. So the likelihood of a bluff goes down significantly. Just greatly increases the likelihood that he. Do we bet our 10 here? This guy's likely has showdown value. I think we go small on turn. We still get called from like the 6-7 type hands, the 7-8 type hands. Just gives up. Okay. What happened on that low? Yeah, we lost. Wow, we've lost like every hand at this table lately. Seems crazy. Okay, fold 9-4, the king 6, 10-3. The three betting's definitely lower than I want it to be. Haven't been three betting much at these two. I guess we're still, yeah, like 9%'s too low. Like definitely not three betting enough right now. I am gonna come along here with Jack 10. Let's just bump up this three bet range a little bit here. It's funny because you can kind of skew the stats a little bit on GG for yourself in your favor when you're like necessarily like in certain positions where you're gonna have a tighter three bet range. But like when you're like button versus cutoff, if you just like blast three bets, when villains like just look at your stat quick, it's gonna be actually really high. But you could be like playing super tight out of the blinds or something like that. So it can be proceed with caution, I guess, would be my advice. Uh, because some villains are only three betting light in certain spots. Okay, it's a really good river card for us. Orange Jesus likes to bet, so we're just gonna like check and give him a chance to, essentially. Um, yeah, if he has nothing, he's gonna bet. If he has an ace, he's gonna bet. Um, and the only thing we're gonna lose to are like those 9x type hands. Or not lose to, but maybe miss a little bit of value on. Okay, bump up the king queen suited. Fold the 9-7 off, fold the 9-5 off. Let's check out the leaderboard so far today. It's not popping up anymore. That's kind of annoying too. You used to be able to just like, there's like a little app button where you would click for the leaderboard and it would pop right up. This might show up anyways. For those of you guys who don't know, as you're playing, uh, there's this leaderboard here. So there's the high leaderboard where if you play enough hands, get enough points, um, first prize per day is 750. The mid stakes, which is NL 100 to NL 25, is 180, and then the low stakes, which is the rest of them NL 10 and down, is 45. We are currently sitting This is obviously like the start of the day. But we're currently sitting in fourth place for 100 right now. Okay, we're gonna c bet and double barrel with 5. And we are, of course, defending king queen here. Our hand's too strong to check raise, so there's no value really in that because we're only going to get called by at least like an ace or better, and we're not really ever going to fold out an ace, at least not often enough. We're going to call the double barrel. He's going to double barrel anything with a jack and anything with a king, whether it's like king 10, king jack. Those hands might actually check, but any king, any jack's going to double barrel here. Uh, there's not too many aces that are actually going to go bet here. Ace 3, ace 5, ace 10, ace queen definitely do. Um, so he's kind of saying though that he has two pair. We block obviously like ace queen and ace king from his range. We obviously like, we don't have aces, tens, queens here. We don't have like a nutted hand. We don't have king jack because we would have check raised turn with the flush draws out there. Um, so it's kind of one of these spots where he's like strengthened his range to like the nuts or nothing because I really don't think he's going to go bet with a bad ace. But he does have all the ace 10, ace queen, ace 3, ace 5 out there. But he does have a lot of bluffs as well. Hmm. I think there's just probably, eh, I guess we'll let it go this time. Flop goes check, check, turn goes check, check, river goes bet raise. I'm just gonna call. I block 5-6. Oh, that's one way to do it. Okay, we're gonna check raise here with the gut shot, the king high, blocking like some like king queen type hands. Okay. Okay, we do boat up on the turn. We do flop the nizzles here. We do call with the queens for one bet. And we just show down. Okay. And we start attacking for value here with an overbet on the turn. Double flush draws, tons of potential two pairs out there. Um, that's a shite river card if I've ever seen one. Still beat a bunch of ace X and like queen king, queen jack type hands. But hearts rolling off is not super great. Yeah. It's a good bluff shove if you have the king of hearts. You can fold the 7-8 off. Just bad run out. Oh wow, free rolling his hand. Man, I wish we had that royal flush. That's wild. All we needed was pocket aces or pocket queens instead of king jack. But wow, they were free rolling us the whole time. That's crazy. Glad we folded river. Nice hand. Okay, bump the aces here. And we bump the aces here. We got 3-bet over here. Get called over there. We're gonna 4-bet over here. Gonna check the aces in the bottom right. And call. Check the bottom right. Three bet top or up here with ace eight suited. Okay. I'm not sure what my play is gonna be here. I feel like like just jamming. I think he knows we bluff enough that I think jamming's probably one of the best ways to play. But we also played our hand exactly like we have queens, kings, aces in that spot. Like we four bet pre or three bet pre. Um, I think we just check the king high. Yeah, our hand looks exactly like what it is there. It's possible if we check, we could get a bluff out of him. Maybe checking's better actually, because he's obviously going to value bet all of his like queen X and like pocket like 10x or something like that. He's not going to shy away from it. Okay, we're going to block bet here on the river, and we're gonna let the king high call. What in the heck is going on here? We can't possibly be getting sucked out this much. We have to call. Like we're getting what, a gajillion to one. Uh, Even if I'm beat every time here, I'm just not willing to fold to these like min click it backs. But I was gonna say he just obviously rivered it somehow. 'Cause again, villains are not bluffing. So if you don't beat their value, you just have to fold. Um, I'm personally just not willing to fold to those small bets when I'm getting like 7-1. All it takes is one random click it back is, that's basically what it is. When I say nobody's ever bluffing, it's like, you run it 10 times, maybe somebody bluffs like twice, you know? Okay, this is a great spot to have aces against this villain. We're going to three bet them. No action. Fold to 7-3. Feel like I've not been paying enough attention to this hand, this table. I'm just like blinding away. Okay, we're going to value bet here with the king 10. Nines will defend here deep. Just going to flop a set anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And we're going to check raise the nines here, bump the 8-5, fold the jack 9. We will call with the king 10. And we're going to go 18 here with the ace king off. Okay, we got a really good turn card here. Obviously, if he has a set, we're still losing, but now we're just blasting. Okay, now we boat up. Now we have the best hand, right? We just have the nuts, I think. And against Hugo, the money's just like going in, whatever. And we're just jamming here against Hellhound with king 10. Nice. Okay, so you check raise like probably ace jack clubs or something. We're gonna leave here and we're gonna run it twice. So what are we dodging here? The jack ball. Crazy that goes like click, 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 all in. Okay, nice. And we chop here with ace high, the ace queen, three bet the king queen off. And we three bet the tens here, heads up. We're gonna ISO the jack 10 off. Not getting any flops against this guy. It's driving me nuts. He does four bet us. It's just like where are we at today? We're just cruising along here. Theoretically, we should, I think, be jamming the tens here. We're only 130 bigs deep playing heads up poker. And I think, yeah, I think 130 bigs deep. We just got to shove tens. Nice. It's crazy, like that's like standard against villains who are decent, but if you're like playing some random guy heads up, like you're getting absolutely smashed in that spot. Okay. We're gonna go for the four bet with kings, raise the fours. Let's hope he jams into us with like queens, jacks, ace, queen. Bring that ace, king. Ace, king always hits on me. Nice. Snap it off. Chop it up, hopefully. Hearts. Okay. Chop it up. We will defend the fours. Fold the 6, 7 off. Okay. It's really hard playing heads up, like with multi-tables. That's for sure. It's a big barrel. I think I'm just gonna dip on this heads up table. I don't want to lose my 500 big blind stack, but I don't want to play this guy heads up. Not that I don't, I just don't think my edge, I think I'm better than him, but I don't think my edge is big enough heads up. And we are working with a relatively tight-ish bankroll. Um, so I think, yeah, I think we're just gonna play this hand, um, and then we will go from there. And we're just gonna three bet the king queen off here and just pretty much jam anything. Ugh, running ace 10, come on. Fold 10-4. I'm just gonna bet small here. I'm trying to basically like fold out a random like pockets 8 hand or like diamonds. And this does look like a value bet when you have just like queen, ace, queen, jack, queen, queen 10. Yes, great outcome. Huge outcome there. Okay, fold 7-4 off. Three bet the king 7 suited. Try again to stack River Raider. This guy went runner runner, like an insane runner runner hand for like a 3-outer or something like that previously. For those of you guys who were watching, you would have likely seen it. That'll probably be our short for the week or for the day or whatever you want to call it for the stream. Value bet the ace 9 suited. And we're going to value bet the ace high. Oh, yeah. I am going to call here. Second pair. Stuck in the middle, so it doesn't feel great. We're gonna call the ace to the check raise. There's gonna be a lot more like draw heavy uh, parts of his range than there are gonna be like queen X, 9X. Just have to get out of the way now. Overbet, that's like a super draw heavy line. Jack's not great. Jack's not great because now we lose to like queen 10. Or sorry, like jack 10 type hands. Some hands get there, like king 10 that he check raises, 8-10 that he check raises. Those like gutter hands all get there. We are going to defend here against this really small 3-bet. Yeah, nice hand. Yeah, I think he gets there a lot there on that turn. Bump the ace 5 suited. Okay, how did this plan play out? He like tiny 3-bet and then like checked flop. Okay. Just gonna make it look like we're kind of stabbing here. I'm gonna fold the a4. I'm gonna give him his button, and I'm going to retire from the heads up match. Okay. All right, we're gonna try this guy again here. We're gonna raise this up, and we're just gonna bet here for value. We just like the nut flush draw, the overcard, the open ender. Like there's just so much equity here to try to money in. Okay. This guy's just firing a lot of these, I feel like. Okay. I think we have to go like 25 here if we're bluffing or value betting with like a pocket 9, pocket 3, pocket jack type hand. Fold queen 3. Bricked it again. I think he's gonna be slow playing us a lot here. Yeah, he does love to fucking call, doesn't he? Just loves to call. I'm gonna give up. He would have called for sure. Whew, dodge that one. Let's just check in on today. I think we're probably pretty even. We've lost some hands. We've won some hands here. Battling. Oh, well, our EV is down a bit, but we're still up to pretty well at peak. Winnings are up at peak though, 318. Open East 9. We're gonna let the Queen Jack go here. This bottom left table is really kind of pointless, but we'll just keep blasting. Wow, he's really deep. Fold the 7 deuce off, and bump the Queen 10 off. Okay, let's see if he'll lead this time. He does. So we're just gonna go for the stack here. We're not folding to pretty much anything. Queen might give him, yeah, I was gonna say. We're gonna give him a chance to bluff river. I think when he donk leads there, his hand's not strong enough, so we need to check, try to get him to bet, like value bet a 10, or hopefully just be willing to pull off. Okay, money goes in. Right, what's going on in this? I guess we're doing okay. Tiny little NL25 table, might as well. Okay, we get aces here. Did he call? He did not call. Maybe just like min clicking it back is better there since we know he's like bluffing. I think we're gonna leave this bottom left table here soon too. Nobody's joining it. Um, and playing just like a ton of hands here is not. He's just winning way too often. Fold the king 5. Fold the 3 deuce off. Okay. Small bet, and then we're gonna barrel turn. Nice. Okay. And we're gonna limp call the ace jack. Pocket kings here in the bottom right. Okay. I don't want to leave because if we can double up, then we're going to be in position on Vegetarianko with a 200 big blind stack, which is a really good spot to be in. Okay, I'm going to check here because again, he's shown such a tendency to call flop and then give up turns. I just want to give him a chance to bluff turn. Um, but we are going to stick it in case he's bluffing with like diamonds and flushes and stuff. But yeah, that's like clear as day, 100% like accurate read that he floats every flop, and when you check turn, he bluffs. So we can just be like double barreling a ton against him now. Okay, fold the a5 off. 3-bet there. And we're going to also 3-bet up here. Buffalo's sizing's off. He opens to like 3.5 way too often. Uh, Pretty standard c-bet here with ace-8 suited. Tons of turns we can barrel. We don't even need anything really, just like any brick we can barrel as well because we're just repping that king so strongly. Definitely defend here with the jacks against River Raider. And we're going to call again. And we're calling river, of course, as well. He checks. We're just gonna put the money in for him. Do I think he ever checks a queen there? I do not. Look at this. Kind of a bad beat jackpot, but not. Okay, bump ace nine off. Fold jack nine here. Okay, let me just double check this. It's flop one check check turn, went bet check, and then he checked river to us. Nice, nice, nice win there. Did we end up winning that with the queen ball? We did. Oh, we folded. We should have went for a four straight hand wins. Maybe that's like that could be a fun stream to do, like streaming until we win 10 hands in a row or something. And we'll fold the ace 10 off to that three bet. We'll four bet some portion of the time, but out of the big blind, villains three bet ranges are usually significantly tighter because most villains will lean towards calling their like marginal hands than they will towards like three betting it ever. Uh, Here we're just getting crazy odds to call and hit like 8-8 or ace-ace 8, stuff like that. Or just have the best hand against like kings and queens, so we obviously have to call here. It feels like you don't really want to, but sometimes with certain hands, like if you have like an ace in your hand, you're just getting way too good price. I'm just jamming here, all these little short stacks at this NL25 table. And we're going to bet here with the 5. Okay, this is interesting. Pick up the heart draw. And we can let that go. Um, I'm just going to call. Nice. Okay, we're just dodging a queen. Wants to run it once. Okay. He's down. Yeah, he lost it out there because he can't hit the queen of diamonds now. So we're dodging a 7 or a queen. Nice. Fold the 8-3 off. Okay, fold the jack 6. Fold the 5-4 as well. Okay, we'll fold the 9 deuce. Fold the 10-4. Raise the ace 10. Okay, call the deuces, bump the 3s. King jack off, we'll 3-bet here. 9-10 suited, we'll 3-bet, we'll fold here. We're going to value bet the ace 10 again. Again, we're not really worried about like ace jack, ace queen, ace king. Most people 3-bet those. Okay. And we're going to 3-bet, or sorry, c-bet here with the king jack. Okay. Pick up the open end there. We're losing to ace jack now, ace queen, like ace queen of hearts. King queen improves. He does have, I'm sure, a bunch of like worse kings, some pocket nines, some 10x like jack 10, queen 10. So I think we're gonna check back turn and play river. And we're just gonna jam the ace king over the 30 big stack to a 4x open. Okay, run it twice here. Did anybody call the other hand there when we had ace king? No, they didn't. Hmm. Lose to king 10, king queen. Lose to ace jack. He has all kind. He doesn't do this with like ace queen. Like he's basically saying he has two pair plus. Could also have like pocket jacks here. He'd bluff probably with pocket jacks. Oh, he flopped a jack there. Yeah, okay. Floats flop, blasts the queen on the turn. He might even float ace king. I don't know if he goes this big with ace king though. Basically lose to all the kings. But his range here is really saying like ace jack. Yeah, I'm not sure about that fold. Kind of felt a little bit bluffy. Probably need to be calling there, like um, against him specifically, like when hearts miss. Uh, we block ace jack, jack nine. We check back turn, which means we don't have any like we don't have ace jack, kings, tens, queens, eights. Like we don't have anything strong when we check back turn, which will give him like an incentive to want to bluff. And he's obviously a player who's willing to be like, okay, and kind of push that. Okay. I'm doing a lot of big pot folding here, which isn't fun. But again, you just have to overfold, and there's just going to be times where you just feel like you're folding like a super nutted hand. But even in like this spot with ace jack, for him to go big bet, like bet on a three flush board, it's going to be pretty difficult for us to have the best hand there with just like ace jack, even versus a villain playing every single hand. Now, obviously, we might see a few hands kind of roll out, uh, and then we know that like, okay, that was a mistake, but we don't know anything about this guy other than the fact that he's played 16 hands and he's played all of them. Okay, call here with the 8-9 suited. That's a pretty good flop. Go for a check raise, I think, this time. He does bet. We'll go 13-5 or something. We just want a nice brick. No action. Okay, that's also fine. Fold the 9-4. Bump the queen 10 off. Okay. 9-7 suited. We'll defend versus like limp in there, I guess. Okay. And we're just gonna jam the pair of sevens here. Sometimes you run into a 10, but most of the time there's just tons of like worse sevens or pairs. Yeah, he did turn it, which is fine. Check here. And we'll just show down here with the 5. We need a 9 or a 7 that is not a heart. Okay. So overall, pretty successful grind so far today. If we can get Beaker out of the hand, that's a great position to be in. Wilson, Smithers is just gonna have a bunch of like connected hands and small pocket pairs and stuff on this board. Uh, once he calls, not super happy to see him call though. Fold, nice. Whew. Saved by the ace, I think, on that one. We are gonna defend here. We have two pair. Jack's not a great card. Now we're losing to anything he was potentially bluffing. Again, we don't put them on a lot of bluffs. But now we're losing to Queen Jack, Jack 10, like King X or like King 9, uh, 10 9, Queen 9, 8 9, stuff like that. But a lot of the time you're just going to just set deuces. Nice hand. But yeah, it's just you can kind of see it clear as day that it doesn't matter what you have. If you're getting check raised, like a lot of the time you're just beat by most of these villains. So you have to be willing to like get out of the way in those spots. You can save yourself a fortune. Like even here, obviously with two pair, we can't fold. But there's scenarios like this where we have like king queen and he raises there. Like you need to get out of the way with your king queen a lot of the time, and save yourself those like extra 10, 12, 13 bigs, which will spike your win rate pretty significantly. Okay, I'm gonna value bet here. Just targeting a 7. I was gonna say, yeah. Sometimes you check call the jack there, but I think we still value bet because he was bluffing turn and then he baked it on the river, which is why you kind of check. Okay, fold the ace 4, bump the deuces. Oh, so it's 4 suited. So this is probably taking a bit of a hit for the last little bit. We're probably back down to like 200 or something, I would guess. Fold queen 4. Oh, wow. I guess we ran up a ton more than I thought we did. So absolutely like crushing so far today. Uh, 8 buy-ins, over 1,700 hands. A little bit less in EV, obviously. When you're running hot, you're just putting all your all-ins, so you're naturally just going to creep up. Doesn't mean you're getting it in bad. It just means you're getting it in like 80-20. Say you get it in with aces versus kings, you're 80% essentially to win. Um, but you win, right? So instead of making uh, out of $100, $80 of that is your expected value. But when you win the full 100. So naturally, even getting it in good, your green line and yellow line will even out. That's why, the reality is you run it 4 or 5 times, and then you feel like, oh, I got bad beat, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like the math correcting itself essentially. So you'll lose those aces versus kings every once in a while. Oops, didn't realize my camera was off. Every once in a while, right? So I guess it's been off for a while. Okay, we'll call the ace 10. And we block bet river. The check back on the turn ends up being a queen, probably more often than a barrel does. Uh, okay, we'll bump the nines. Definitely appreciate everybody checking out the stream. Feel free to slip over to Twitch too and sub follow over there. It's a lot harder to get action over on Twitch without already having a bit of a following there. Um, just everybody from YouTube just watches on YouTube. Okay, we'll fold the 10-6, and we'll just check back the sevens here. Fine calling turn. with the diamonds and the pocket sevens here. We do lose to exactly like that 5x some portion of the time. That's fine. Kev G, happy to call the 9-10 suited. And we're gonna bump up these 4 full here. Um, Against half pot, I think we just let this go. Okay, check call here with the ace 4 suited. Lots of backdoors, overcards. Ace high can be the best hand a vast majority of the time. I think we have to bet now. I think all of his 7x bets turn. So now we're going to try to fold out like a pair of fives, a pair of sixes, something like that. We can also just have the best hand here with a 4, but like if we have the best hand, we win, whether we bet or not. And if we don't have the best hand, when we bet, we can fold out all those bad pocket pairs, right? So it just makes uh, betting way better in those types of scenarios. Okay. And we will open the ace 3 offsuit. Appreciate everybody checking out the channel. Stream's been growing slowly but surely. We used to average around like 2. Now we usually around 6, 7, 8 viewers when um, when we're not like playing like streaming at 3 in the morning or something like that. So it's pretty cool. Oh, what happened here? Fold jack 8 off, fold 10-3 suited. Eyes itchies. All can be. Nothing. Fold the 9-7 off. Honestly, the mental game is going to be like the biggest factor, and if you actually can move up stakes and crush, not even crush, just like beat stakes and slowly even move up. I'm going to lead out here with Vegetarianko being stuck in the middle, and Suk Deep Mahli being short stacked. It just puts a lot of like tension on him for like trying to bluff. He doesn't have very much wiggle room in those spots. Okay, we're gonna go half pot here again. Five's not super good. So it makes my story a little less believable. Um, which is why we're trying to choose like sizings that we would take with like pocket sevens or something like that. Just come down if he's willing to fold like ace high here. I don't think he ever folds. Yeah, okay. Ever folds like sixes plus. Oh, with kings. Okay, that's all right. I think kings should be 100% shoved there. Yeah, sure. Sometimes we show up with like 5x, but I think you need to just jam kings there. And we're going to bluff here with 8-6 suited. We can't win by showing down, so we're going to let that go. Okay. We're just going to try to eat a couple chips out of this guy. Okay, we end up taking that down. Ace 5. We do boom, boom, boom. Check here. So I think I don't really want to because the stream's actually doing pretty good for watch hours and stuff, but we'll fold the 7-3. Sunday's always a good streaming day, lots of action. But yeah, we're up quite a bit. We're on a bit of a dip down here now, but yeah, pretty good so far, I would say. Call the king. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna sit out here, everybody. If you are watching, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the channel, and away we go.